Good evening, and welcome everyone to the Washington Institute for Near East Policy's 2011 Scholar Statesman Award celebration. Thank you for traveling from around the world to be with us here tonight. I'm Marty Gross, and I'm proud to serve as the president of the Washington Institute. The Washington Institute is now completing our 26th year, more than a quarter century of analysis and advice to help guide our nation's leaders through the choppy waters of the Middle East. Today, the vast area from Morocco to Iran is being transformed, and the work of the Washington Institute is more critical than ever before. Our job is to improve the quality of American foreign policy, to help our government make sound choices to advance American interests in peace, security, and democracy. This is a troubling time for America in the Middle East. Islamic governments are taking root across the region. Iran is relentlessly pursuing a nuclear option, and the hope for peace between Israelis and Palestinians seems as distant as it has ever been. All of these developments require the kind of critical research and creative ideas that only the Washington Institute can provide. I know that you understand how important the Washington Institute is, because tonight, with your help, we've raised more than $1.1 million to keep our programs focused, productive, and effective. On behalf of the trustees and board of the Institute, I thank you for your support. I would also like to thank our staff in New York, who have worked so hard to make this dinner a success. Barbie Zakin and Susie Fishkin, and Jackie Shine, New York Regional Director, and Parisa Esmaili. Tonight we have gathered to bestow our Scholar Statesman Award on two men who sought neither fame nor influence, but each in his own society and around the world has achieved both. That is due to the strength of their convictions and the moral force of their character. And later in the evening, we will have a chance to hear from them in unscripted conversation with our executive director, Dr. Robert Satloff. First, we have the pleasure of honoring someone closer to home. He may never have faced a Soviet gulag or an Arab prison, but his challenge was daunting. After all, he has been a civic leader in New York City. To introduce this honoree, I'm delighted to welcome back to the Washington Institute a very special friend. This is his very first day on the job as counselor to the Washington Institute. He has just completed service as special assistant to the president and senior director for the Central Region on the National Security Council. This is the fourth president, inclusive of both parties, for whom this outstanding public servant has given advice and counsel. A consummate scholar, writer, and diplomat, he was the author of the very first Washington Institute publication 25 years ago, and he served for 8 years as the Institute's Ziegler Distinguished Fellow before going back into government in 2009. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming back Ambassador Dennis Ross.
Thanks, Marty. It's true, I have to say, I finished at the White House on Friday night. I actually had a previous obligation over the weekend that kept me busy working at a conference. And so I come here today, and I have to say the first thing is I had to give back my BlackBerry on Friday night. So I actually don't have a BlackBerry and don't have a phone. I feel completely untethered. I keep reacting to vibrations that are not happening. But I have to say that it is great to come back to the Washington Institute. There has never been a place where I have felt more intellectually at home, and there's never been a place that I think has done more important work and creates the basis for the kind of scholarship that is so important, particularly at a time when we're facing a region that is characterized by more uncertainties than we've ever seen before. So I should say I'm back, and my first duty here, I have to admit, is a really pleasant one. I get to say a few nice words about John Shapiro. He has been a trustee of the Institute. I got to know him about 8 years ago. I was impressed from the very first day by the passion he has in a very wide range of different kinds of issues. I was also struck, as I said to him over lunch today, by his fundamental curiosity. But as I've learned more about him as a person, I know that he is a man who is driven by passion and interest and a commitment to helping others. John is a successful businessman who has a profound sense of civic responsibility. He and his wife, Dr. Shani Silverberg, have built outstanding careers, his in business, hers in medicine. They've raised two remarkable sons, Zachary and Nathaniel, and the two of them are committed to basically what I call tikkun olam, to mend the world. In John's case, he gives his time, his resources, his intellect, his ability to lead to the community. But to be more accurate, what he does is he gives all of that to multiple communities. To civic life in New York City, to the Jewish community here, to his alma mater, Wesleyan University, and to people in need everywhere, including especially children. His commitment to community stands out here in New York and is probably most manifest by his leadership in the UJA. It was particularly the good fortune of the UJA Federation here that at a time of economic collapse, this is also John's unique sense of timing, he became the president of the Federation. He has done an enormous amount. He rose to the challenge, he met it, he used his organizational skills to bring together all of the Jewish agencies in the metropolitan area to provide a unique, unified, and collaborative response through something called Connect to Care. Connect to Care provides multi-service centers that offer job counseling, legal assistance, and financial and debt consulting. Over the past 2 years alone, nearly 50,000 people have been served by this innovative program. But obviously that's not the only place where John has made his efforts to others known. His commitment to education is seen in his leadership at the Dalton School, where he served as president, and also in support of his alma mater, where John and Shani have contributed to the Wesleyan Jewish Studies program and endowed the Shapiro Creative Writing Center. In addition, thanks to John's support for an organization called Lawyers for Children, children in crisis have an advocate to provide protection, support, and hope. The Lawyers for Children offers free legal and social work advocacy to abused and neglected children, children in foster care, and children in high conflict custody cases. I know it's not going to surprise you when I say that he also has a profound love and commitment to the State of Israel. And that's been reflected in other contributions he's made. The Shapiro Family Fellowship is a year-long program designed to help young professionals connect with Israel through study and personal contact, including an intensive 17-day trip to Israel. If there's one thing I've known from my own different kinds of incarnations, I can tell you, it is the personal connection with Israel that creates a lifelong identity. As I said earlier, I got to know John, it was between 8 and 9 years ago, and Merrill Tish and I came to see him, and we came to talk about the Washington Institute. And as we began to talk about the Washington Institute, the most interesting thing to me were the full range of questions that he had and the immense kind of desire to make a contribution here. And he's done it in multiple ways, not the least of which is, it's not just that he will support particular research projects, he's also specifically contributed to workshops, including one I recall putting together on the Israelis and the Palestinians. So he is someone who always is to be found wherever there's a need, and he's seen in the Washington Institute a place that can make a major contribution. For all these reasons, for all that he does to improve the lives of others, here and around the world, it really is fitting that we're honoring him tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dennis, and a very, very warm welcome back. It's truly a wonderful evening to have you back at the Washington Institute. John, there's a saying from the book of Proverbs that a good name is more precious than riches. You have plenty of riches, but that saying really applies to you for all your material successes, of which there is many. You are rich in things that truly matter: respect, integrity, wisdom, and caring. You give far more than you receive, and in giving, you have earned the respect and admiration of all who know you. And as an expression of our respect and admiration for you, it is my pleasure to present to you this symbol of your global vision and wisdom. It reads, "To John Shapiro, a leader of vision, integrity, and compassion, from your friends at the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, December 5th, 2011. Congratulations.
Well, after hearing all of those nice words, I think I should quit while I'm ahead. Thank you very much, Howard, for that, for the presentation. And Dennis, it's very meaningful on your first night back for me to have you speak in tribute. There's been no one who's probably more knowledgeable about the Mideast than Dennis Ross, and has worked harder for peace. And I think it is a tremendous tribute for the Washington Institute that he has decided to return, although I fear it may be a loss for our country. Looking at tonight's program, I'm sort of the amuse-bouche, because you have some real giants, human rights giants tonight. And I did not spend time incarcerated anywhere, except perhaps in a bedroom for a timeout in my youth. And so I sort of feel a little bit sheepish being up here on the same, the same stage with these, with Natans, who I have had the chance to work with, and Saad Ibrahim, who I just had a chance to meet. Because let's face it, for most of us, taking a stand on human rights, a strong stand, means talking too loudly at a dinner party until your wife kicks you under the table. And yet these men spoke out at great risk to themselves. Knowing that they were at great risk, they paid huge penalties which disrupted their lives in major ways. And at the end, when they finally were released and achieved their freedom, you know what? Who would have blamed them to say, you know what, I want to retire, I want a reality TV show, somebody else should carry on, I've done my part. And instead, what have they done? They've just, the moment they hit the ground, they started to speak up courageously and with conviction, and they really are a shining example of what courage and leadership is all about. So I am humbled to be on the same program with them tonight. Now, since dinner's being paid for by the Washington Institute, I should say a few nice things, but actually I'm delighted to be involved with this organization. First of all, it's stunning to me that they've been able to get the type of statesman honorees such as Natan and Saad tonight, Tony Blair, President Clinton, Henry Kissinger, George Shultz. These are men of great stature, and they're able to bring them in front of an audience of this credibility. And for any organization, just to arrange those sorts of events is pretty impressive, but obviously they do a lot more than that. They bring together scholars and experts from around the world, people such as Dennis, who have served in government in very senior capacity, and they bring them together, and these are individuals that understand the history of the region, they understand the facts on the ground, they understand the personalities driving the decisions. In fact, they bring something that is often missing in Washington. They actually know what they're talking about. And they produce some of the most provocative and interesting analyses, policy pieces, recommendations, and something of tremendous value to anybody who is concerned about the issues of the Mideast. So frankly, if all of, and that in and of itself is a remarkable accomplishment, and when you look at the people they attract, and if that's all they did, had this dinner and put together these scholars, you'd say that's enough. Maybe I should say Diana in this crowd, but in fact they do something more than that, because at the end of the day, they advise the people who make the decisions, those individuals look to the Washington Institute for advice, for opinion, for recommendations, sometimes to relay messages. In short, serious people take them seriously. And as a result, it is my conviction that any solution to the challenges of the Mideast will find the DNA of the Washington Institute totally embedded. And it's that reason why I'm pleased to be involved and to help be supportive. I am pleased that all of you are here tonight. And I want to thank the Washington Institute for Near East Policy and Rob Howard for this very wonderful award and for giving me my 5 minutes of fame here. So thank you very much.